She fought like a storm unleashed upon the battlefield. Fearless, relentless, impossible to ignore, while kingdoms burned and warriors fell. The flames came first, before sorrow, before exile, before the silence of a fallen clan. Fire devoured the night skies of a dying era, and beneath the cries of war, a child ran from destiny. Hojo Tokiyuki, heir to a shattered name, a boy born not for battle, but for escape, in an age where warriors sought glory and death, where steel sang louder than mercy, and honor demanded blood. He survived, not through strength, not through conquest, but through movement, through instinct, through the impossible art of never being caught. The world called warriors brave, for standing their ground. But what of the one who lived? What of the child who outran death itself? The clan had fallen, castles burned beneath betrayal, and trusted banners turned like wolves in moonlight. The mighty Hojo clan, reduced to ashes scattered by ambition, and behind it all, the shadow of betrayal. Ashikaga Takauji, a name carried by fear and brilliance alike, a warrior whose smile concealed storms, whose rise would drown nations in blood. Against such a force, what could a child become? The answer arrived. In laughter, a priest danced beneath the heavens, eyes gleaming with prophecy and madness. Urishige Suwa, mystic, trickster, visionary, he saw not weakness in the fleeing boy, but destiny. You must live, he said, not as command, but revelation, for survival itself would become rebellion. Thus began the wandering. Mountains whispered beneath cold winds, forests concealed footsteps from hunters. The earth itself seemed to bend, to protect the child who could not be captured. Enemies pursued him like starving wolves, yet every arrow missed, every blade struck empty air. He moved like rain slipping through fingers, like smoke escaping grasping hands. And the people began to speak. A ghost, a fox spirit, the boy who cannot be cornered. But beneath the legends, beneath the escape and movement and survival, there remained grief. A child who had lost everything. Family, home, identity. A boy carrying ruins inside his heart. Yet still, he smiled. Not because pain was absent, but because hope refused to die. Companions gathered around him. Warriors shaped by strange paths and broken times. Loyalty formed not from duty alone, but from belief. For there is power in those who fight for the impossible. Battles erupted across valleys and villages. Horses thundered like storms upon the earth. Steel flashed beneath crimson skies. War banners danced in the wind, like omens of fate itself. And amid the chaos, Hojo Tokiyuki ran, not away from destiny, toward it. Each escape sharpened him, each failure hardened resolve. The frightened child began transforming into something greater. A survivor, a symbol, a storm impossible to contain. The enemy mocked him, a coward, a child who flees. But they did not understand. To survive, in a world built on death, was its own kind of courage. For what is bravery? To die proudly, or to endure long enough to change the world? The winds carried no answer, only movement. And movement became legend. Across battlefields soaked in despair, the elusive samurai danced beyond destruction. Arrows fractured against empty air. Soldiers lunged toward shadows. Victory slipped from grasping hands. He became untouchable, not because he was strongest, but because he understood something others did not. A rigid tree breaks in storms, but the wind survives. Years passed beneath blood-red sunsets. The child grew, and with him, so too did the rebellion sleeping beneath the land. The fallen were remembered. The betrayed cried out through history, and somewhere beyond the endless war, a future waited. Not guaranteed, not certain, but possible. And so he continued, through snowstorms and battle cries, through fear and prophecy, through loss that would have shattered lesser souls. Because to live was to resist, because every breath stolen from fate was victory. And one day, the boy who once fled through burning ruins would stand before the storm itself, not as prey, but as legacy reborn. This is the story of the elusive samurai, a tale not of conquest alone, but survival, not of dying gloriously, but living defiantly. For history remembers warriors who fought, but legends remember the one who could never be caught. And when the fires of war consumed the world, one boy became the wind, untouchable, unbroken, elusive forever.